Hello, economic refugees.
Good
It's
evening.
Wednesday Night Live. I see right now we have a phenomenal amount of zero. Home Alone.
It takes time to log in.
Yep. So anyway, we're just...
Hi, guys.
Someone, come on, there's one. Oh, someone hit a thumbs up. Who was that, you?
No.
No?
Hi.
There's two. Okay. Good evening. Glad to have you along so far. We got people starting to come on. That's a good thing. As always, I'm waiting for my computer to find me on here so I can read questions. Hopefully everybody's had a good week so far. For us, it's our Saturday and Sunday. Oh wow, I came up quick this time. See that? Great. Let's see what happens here if I can.
Up.
See if I can get on here. See what's going on.
Trey's Universe. Hi, I'm here on time. Woohoo, Trey!
Yeah, look at Pete's here. Oh yeah, probably.
I'm here on time. Woohoo, Trey! You have to turn that down.
Yeah, I gotta kill the volume here.
Pete, someone said there's a hockey game around here somewhere.
Yeah. All right, Trey's here. Our faithfuls. Our faithful subscribers are here.
So we're really happy because today was a day off.
Yeah, we took a beautiful ride and we went up. We actually were trying to get the video on before we came on the air, but we didn't want it to
conflict with the live feed.
Yeah, it looks like our live feed is good tonight. Our internet, of course, it's not stormy, it's not lightning, thundery,
and the park's not packed right now.
Yeah, it's empty. So
Wednesdays are good for that.
Yeah. Anyway, we went to this town. It was called Chitimo.
Yeah.
Chitimo. And it was a town from like the 1890s to like the early, like 1910 or 1908. And they had a graveyard. There were Indians and settlers buried in this graveyard. No marked headstones. They were just buried.
Like
they
50 of them.
Yeah, they had like a big stone there that that just kind of said this is a graveyard type thing. And then across the street was a school. Yeah, we just kind of wandered around there and then just kind of drove around. It's really a pretty ride. Nice time to have a day off once in a while. We're used to getting at least a couple of days off, except at sugar beets and Christmas trees. But on our summer job, we usually get at least 2 days off a week. But it's just trying to get everybody up to speed, being able to work in the restaurant and do what they have to do and everything else. So we're probably this week we'll probably get it all dialed in. As it is, there's another couple of us that know how to do everything, and then everybody else that is just starting to learn. Yeah, they're brand new and learning. So by the end of this week, Blue Bear's a minute late. Okay.
Oh no.
Well, that's that.
One demerit.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Happy weekend to you. Mine starts tomorrow. Yeah. Well, that's
our weekend this week because we're training new people. So, and last week we got one day also. But we got off work yesterday at 5, did all our little chores, and so we were able to just kind of play all day long today, and that was really fun.
Trey thinks we're positive. Of course, when we turn the camera off, we start throwing things at each other and stuff, and breaking lights and tables. But on camera, we're just. No. Let's see. Hate being late for a date. Yeah, well, you know, some people have to make an entrance. That just might be you. I'm always early. I'm sitting here for 10 minutes going, okay, we only have 8 more minutes before we have to go on the air. So
and I'm running around going, but I got to get this done and that done.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah.
So
got to clean up all those broken things you throw.
Yeah, that's not happening. It's funny watching me after I've done something on the video here, because yeah, it's delayed. Yeah. So let's see. You can trade me on the cherry ice. Yeah. Yeah, cherry ice cream, it's pretty good. I'll tell you what though, we got this stuff called Hurricane. It's really good. It's got like chocolate brownie and caramel. And so a few people, I guess you guys watched that video, huh? It seems like our, I don't know, I think we're becoming less popular as time goes on. I don't know what's going on.
We're popular with the people that matter, though. That's what counts.
We have a pretty solid group. I think probably about 700 or 800 people are watching our videos, pretty much. And then there's probably about 120 people that are 125, 130 like that come on this and watch it and different things like that. So I mean, in the beginning, we didn't expect anyone to want to watch us. So it's kind of surprising.
For our kids.
Yeah, and they're not here. So what's going on with that? Where are you, Steve, Leah? Let's see, Cindy.
Oh, you forgot the last one's name?
No, it was Carl, friend of mine, Carl.
Oh, Pooh Bear says, I'm really shy. I thought Pooh Bear was very outgoing.
So Trey's been liking the RVs that we've been showing on Facebook. You know, it's getting hard to find decent RVs to show people. I mean, that I showed a what was that? That was a Dutch Star 35-footer single slide, and that thing was gone 2 hours after I showed it. And then I showed that old GM bus. That thing 2 hours after I put it on there. I'm not saying they bought it because of us. I'm just saying it was gone. And right now, a lot of this stuff out there are fire jobs and wrecks and stuff like that. And
I was surprised about that bus, though, because he said it had a kitchen in it, and he showed me the picture, and it was amazing. I like that kitchen.
It was all stainless steel. It was just, and that thing was built back in the 70s. It was never an actual traveling, like a Greyhound bus. It was always, the guy bought the thing off the assembly line and then took it to a company, and they did it all in red, white, blue, and did the kitchen in stainless steel.
It was a cool kitchen.
And for $16,000, and in 1983 they upgraded the engine and transmission. So they didn't really say what was in there, but yeah, it really was a good looking bus. And if I was looking for something, I'd probably be the W that buys it, because I just like stuff like that, you know. Let's see, let's look at some questions. Hello from the Tennessee Smoky Mountains. Great content on your videos. Hey, thank you very much. We actually almost had a job there at that Iron Horse resort, where it's like a motorcycle place. The problem was the timing. We couldn't do it because we didn't want to miss out on sugar beets. And you'll notice, last week I kind of had a little bit of allergies because of all the pollen. Yesterday, the owner and I, we have a guy here, he's almost 80 years old. He'll turn 80 here in a week or two. And he bought this trailer off these people that had left it here for years. They lived in it every year, came here. And the thing, they had a dog and they smoked, and this thing smelled so bad. So the owner and I went in there because he was going to the hospital and everything. I think because of being in this trailer, we went in there, ripped all the carpet and everything out. And then the owner had the cleaning crew go in there, clean it all up.
So he's all plugged up constantly.
Yeah, like I say, I'm allergic to Kleenex, so anything I snort in my nose causes me problems. So just bear with me. It's not because I've been snorting hurricane ice cream or anything. That would be terrible.
There's an idea.
I'm shy, really, Pooh Bear. Nah, Pooh Bear, you're not shy. It's your fingers that are shy, right? Let's see.
GG Regs, hello from Tennessee Smoky Mountains. Great content on your videos, and welcome. I don't remember seeing you before, so welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, Brian.
As well as everyone else.
Brian Crowell, hi. Good to see you guys. Yeah, let's see.
2 scoops of the bacon ice cream with sprinkles.
We don't have bacon ice cream. I don't know.
We'll have to talk to the owners about ordering some.
I'll tell you what we do make, and this is one of my favorites: chocolate marshmallow malts.
Marshmallow, any flavor malts.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that marshmallow, it's marshmallow cream, not the fluff, because that stuff will just float and blob in your ice cream. It's got to be the cream, marshmallow cream. It's really good. Smucker's makes it.
Hi to Linda Joan.
Yeah,
you guys will probably
guys.
remember her, remember them. We met up with them and had lunch. They were our first meeting on our way to here.
First and only meetup so far.
Nobody else wants to meet us. We're like, okay, enough of that. I don't think Linda Joan would want to see us again either. Anyway, we had a great time with them. And I'm glad you guys are here. I know they're still looking for another RV. I don't know that little Safari, that 97 Safari, I'm surprised someone hasn't just bought that thing up. That, to me, those Safaris have that aluminum siding, they have a fiberglass roof. They're pretty well built. And also for Bob, I've been talking to a guy named Bob and he sent me a list of things and questions he'd like to ask. Look at the Safari trucks. I mean, if you want a small motorhome, if you want something with a small diesel in it that gets, pretty good fuel economy, Those safari trucks are really awesome. You get a big bathroom, you get a big kitchen, you get a big living room, and you're looking around where's the bedroom. You push a button, and bam, it comes out of the ceiling, and there's your bedroom. You can get them as short.
They're cool,
I think they're
but
21 feet.
Only thing I can see that would be a problem if you were a couple is one wants to go to bed and the other one doesn't. So, what do?
You just squat down when you're sitting in the couch.
Just lay down on the floor.
Yeah, it's actually a couch down below that makes it into a bed, but that's how far down it comes down. It comes down and sits almost on that couch.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hi, Makio.
Yep, hi, Makio.
See, hello from Kentucky and Colorado.
Who do you use for...
east side of South Dakota.
Okay, roadside assistance. We use Good Sam, and we've used them one time, and the only reason was, that's kind of a funny story. We were leaving Sugar Beets, and we were driving on ice, and we were driving about 35 miles an hour, and the alternator gauge was doing this, so I know something was coming, and also we were driving down the road, and boom, it shut off. It just quit. So we coasted over the side of the road, and it wouldn't do anything, and I had a really good idea what it was. So I be dressed in Levi's, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and I tried to get out, and it's in the front of the motorhome where the problem, I believed, was at. And the road was so icy, and the wind was blowing like 60 miles an hour. There were cars. You got to imagine there's cars in the ditches and trucks flipped over.
It was bad. It
was really crazy. We were trying to get the Billings because we needed to take a drug test because we were headed to Amazon.
And that's what they require.
And I couldn't get to it. It was just too cold and too windy. So I came back in. I said, you know, we got Good Sam. We've been paying for it for a couple of years, and we'll just call them. So I called them. Yeah, no problem. They sent out this tow truck. I mean, this thing had like 4 axles. It was huge. And this little tiny guy gets out, old guy. And he goes, folks, just jump in the front of the truck with me. And I said, well, we're going to unhook our pickup. We'll just follow. You don't need to. I can tow it.
I can drag them both.
Anyway, went underneath there and pulled the drive shaft and hooked up air lines and everything and hooked up the motorhome. And away he goes. And I mean, he's doing like 70 miles an hour. All I can think is my motorhome's just going to go off the side of the road. And he takes us to the shop. And no charge. Good Sam. We were talking about Good Sam. I get into the story, but Good Sam, no charge. Awesome.
All of our dues that, you know, the premiums that we paid for 4 years, whatever it was, 5 years.
Yeah, probably a $700 tow.
We got our money back in that one tow.
Took about an hour for him to get to us. Of course, we were on I-94, I think. Anyway, it worked. That part worked out real good. So the guy pulls us into a shop, drops us off. Next morning, I get up, go in and talk to the service writer. I say, I'm out to the motorhome and quit running. So they sent a mechanic out. Yeah, I start to talk to the mechanic, and I said, well, I think I might know what's wrong with it. And he just looks at me and he goes, well, here's what we got to do. We got to figure out whether you're going to fix it or I'm going to fix it. And I knew I didn't want to put the drive shaft back in. I didn't want to get under there because it was all aired down and everything. I said, okay, you're going to fix it. He said, well, I'm going to put the drive shaft in first. So he puts the drive shaft in, and he spends about an hour and a half, and he finally comes to me and he goes, so what do you think it is? I said, well, there's a solenoid in the front over here in front of the dash on the outside. I think if you jump that solenoid, it'd probably fire right up. And he jumped that solenoid, it fired right up, and he smiled, and from then on, we were cool. He knew I had a little knowledge. Anyway, and then they sent for the part, and they were going to pull him off, and if they pulled him off, then he was going to work on something else until he either got hung up or whatever. So I had to pay him for 2 hours labor to do nothing. So I made him go underneath on a creeper and grind all my grounds and everything. To make a long story short, they got the part, they put it in. About a month later, we found out it was a starter solenoid instead of a continuous use, so I had to replace it anyway. But it got us back on the road.
Yeah. Good Sam.
Good question, though. Good Sam's the best. Yeah. As far as we're concerned, I mean, let's see. Hello from the east side of South Dakota. Hey. All right,
and
South
Colorado
Dakota.
And Kentucky.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, we got all those, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's, I don't know if you're living there. If you're living there, it's a beautiful place to live, especially this time of year. It's really pretty here. About 3 weeks before we got here, there's 6 feet of snow, so we're glad we didn't get here early. Good Sam gets a bad rap. I have their...
Lynn and Joan are coming here
RSA
sometime
too.
This summer.
They are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello from Alaska.
How come they're not coming up on there?
Oh, hello from your favorite offspring.
Teacher Cindy. I'm sorry I'm late. I am I am way less tech savvy than you guys and couldn't figure it where you were.
You're
That's our
supposed to
daughter.
get notifications, Sam. If you'd slap the bell, you'd know.
I know you know Mommy's phone number. Here we go. Colorado is an amazing place to live. Yeah, we worked actually at KOA in Ouray, Colorado, our first
Beautiful
year.
place.
Man, you talk about unbelievable. Any direction you looked, it was waterfalls, and it was so pretty. We really enjoyed it. Kevin, love you. I live in Brookings, South Dakota, home in the cornfields and bad winters. Yeah, we actually, of course, you know, we lived in Hesperia, California. We had some friends that moved there, and there, you know, well, it snows in Hesperia. It's not a big deal. He was back about him and his wife came back about 2 years later. He said, didn't snow like that in Hesperia.
Weirdly enough, I mean, not weirdly, really. I mean, you guys get, I guess you get tornadoes because they did, and it ripped off the roof on their house the first year they were there. Cost them like $17,000 to fix it, and they decided they'd had enough, and so they came back to the high desert in California.
Yeah, that's our Cindy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My favorite offspring.
Oh yeah, Cindy came and visited us in Colorado. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us she was having a baby.
Yeah. Who's now 7.
Yeah. See how that works? You can't even hide from him in Colorado.
Is he 7?
Yeah. Have I ever had a tire blowout? No. And the reason is because I check my tires. And one rule I have is if you're traveling all the time, you're driving your rig every day, then check your tires at least once a week. If you're not traveling all the time, then check them every time you leave. And another thing you want to do is take a flashlight. It's better to look at your tires at night, unbelievably anyway, than it is to check them during the day.
Because why?
Because the sun, you don't see certain things, and then when you get in between the dualies, it's real dark. So I take a flashlight, go underneath there, shine my light, and you can see really fine cracks with a flashlight. So we replaced the tires on this, about a year and a half ago. I checked, we had Bridgestones, which were like really heavy duty truck tires. And I mean, those things, they were probably about 9 years old, and they were starting to crack. A couple of them were starting to crack a little bit. So my brother, he has a truck and he has a tire guy that does all his tires. I said, well, see what he can get me the Toyos for, because I did a lot of research on the Toyo tires, and everybody said they were really good. So I got 7 brand new Toyo tires with all the balancing little things you throw inside, and it was $2,400. I got 7 tires, so I have a spare, brand new spare. And then my brother said, well, you know, I could probably sell those tires, your old tires, for you. So he got me $700. So it cost me $1,700, and him and I put them on. So $1,700 for 7 tires installed. That was a pretty good deal.
And I stand corrected. Lincoln is only 6, not 7. Sorry.
See?
Don't make him older. I was sitting here going, I knew I was wrong.
Let's see. Yeah, tire blowouts are bad though. You know, I don't know if you guys, if you're not on Economic Refugees group, of course they make us approve you, but I'm the only one I wouldn't approve would, I don't know who I wouldn't approve. I've approved everybody. But anyway, go on there, and there's a family had a fifth wheel and had a blowout, and man, it just tore the side of their trailer up. I've told people for years, because of the quality of the trailer tires, even if you buy name brand tires, trailer tires are still made in China. So the secret to buy that is to buy light duty truck tires and get at least an E-rated tire. They seem to handle the weight better. And we have a guy here, he's bought 4 new trailers. He just bought a 2017 Redwood because of blowing tires. And he got like mobile home tires. I said, well, I hope those work. If they don't work for you, you need to get truck tires, because the truck tires seem to be a lot better. Also, another thing, never buy a rear kitchen anything. You buy a motorhome with a rear kitchen, or you buy a travel trailer with a rear kitchen, this is what you get. Just, you know, you gotta make sure all your I've known people to screw their cabinets shut because of rear kitchens. So
Because if you don't, you'll open your trailer door and you'll have all kinds of stuff everywhere.
that's called
More often than not.
the surprise.
Yeah.
When it's always a surprise when you open the door on a trailer, because you never know what's going on in those anyway. Which brand of tire would you get for a Class C? Are Coopers any good? Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth about Coopers. They're good. There's a few guys out there that are running them that I know, and you know, different brands have problems at different times. And I mean, when I was a kid, Coopers were a good tire, and then for a while there, I mean, I used to buy tires all the time. I could burn off a set of rear tires in a couple of weeks on the car I had. And I mean, I had an account when I was 17 years old at a tire store. And Coopers were a good tire. And then they went through a little bit of a lull there where they were just trying to do volume and not make a great tire. But now they're back to building a good tire. And you put a Cooper truck tire on a trailer or on a Class C, you're going to do good. Another problem with dualies, a lot of guys like to get bigger tires on the dualies in the back, but make sure that you have clearance between those tires. I've actually seen it where the tires are touching, and boy, that's worse than anything. That'll cause a blowout really quick. Make those tires so stinking
Create
hot.
all that friction in there.
A lot of heat. So make sure that when you get the tires, your rear tires, the front ones is not the wire on. It'll rub on stuff that'll make noise, but the tires together, you probably won't even notice it until your whole back of your rig blows off. Let's see. Cooper, okay. Have you ever heard of Brian Adventure Van Man? How is he liking Alaska? The last time I heard from Brian, he was getting ready to go there. And pretty much right at this point, I haven't heard any more. So
I'm pretty sure he's already there.
Yeah, I'm sure he's there.
And I'm not sure. He even said on his video he's not sure how the Wi-Fi is going to be, so he's not really sure how much he'll be able to upload to YouTube. So
it probably
kind of in standby.
Probably has so much money, and he's got nowhere to spend it. So that would be a real problem to have. But yeah, I haven't heard from him. But if I do, when I do, I should say, I'll let you guys know, because I know a lot of the people out there are from Brian's channel. So yeah, we got concerned. People were asking, "Where's Brian? Where's Brian?" And I wrote him, and then he didn't respond, but then the next day he came out with a video. So let's see. How much do KOAs charge per night? They seem like a nice place to stay. It depends. KOA stands for keep on adding. So like here we get, people come here, and I think what is it, about $65 for the base place, and then it kind of goes up from there. We have tiny houses here. I mean, we got some places that are
some
amazing.
Real nice lodges. We have teepees. We have tent sites.
But they're cheaper than a motel, I mean, or a hotel.
Yeah. And we have tons of activities here too. I mean, there's never a dull moment.
Yeah, there's canoeing and tubing. There's motorcycle riding.
They have crafts. They have a DJ and a dance.
And a movie on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. The water slide's extra. The tubing's extra. We have a bounce thing, and that's $3.75 a day.
And it's been that for 10 years.
Yeah.
They haven't changed the price on that.
Yeah, we you could spend a few bucks here. It's not crazy. Actually the restaurant's not very expensive.
No.
Ice creams are pretty reasonable and stuff. But it depends. If you're used to boondocking, it's expensive. But if you're used to camping, what I say is we're still looking for people. If you want to come here, they'll pay you to stay here.
Somebody buy an RV and come here.
Yeah, it's free to stay. You pay $200 a month, but you make that back easy and plus. So.
And it's beautiful here.
Yeah. Sounds like your allergies are flaring up. Yep. Well, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but we pulled some carpet out. This old guy Al, he's a handyman. He's the type of guy who can do anything, but he's getting older, and he's got the brain could do anything now, but the body can't.
You skipped another message.
I did.
I don't know why.
Is it on there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which one?
You should tell them about the windshield heading cross country. That was a wild story. Some of them have heard it, but.
Oh, who said that?
Cindy.
Oh, yeah. Well, which windshield problem? We had a problem with them popping out in the corners.
You could put your whole hand through.
This is the
Glass
top
was here
corner.
and the body was here. I could put my whole hand. You could see nothing but blue sky.
And then, so when we were working at Brett's,
while we were traveling down the road.
yeah, we'd have to get out, get a ladder, and push on it, and get it back in. Anyway, we when we worked at Brett's, I ordered a new rubber, and I was going to have a guy in Arkansas, a glass guy, pull the windshield out. Both of them, there's two. Pull them out, put the new weather strip in, and then we were in Williston, where the oil fields are. They had a truck going the other way through a stone about that big around. It just put like it almost looked like one of those things you stick on a window. It looks like a golf ball or baseball. So we called the insurance company. Yeah, we have good insurance. It's out of South Dakota. It's out of where we do our Your Best address. So we got insurance for windshields. If you have one of these motorhomes and you have big windshields, which they all do, it's $75 a year.
But let me add to that. We had our policy for a couple of years, and I did not know that you have to add on glass insurance. I also didn't know that glass insurance is only good for the front windshield, no other piece of glass. So, but it's still worth it if you end up with a busted front windshield. So.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Cooper tire. Daniel's talking about he has Discoveries. They're good tires. I haven't heard anything bad about a Cooper tire in a long time.
So that windshield.
So anyway, we got hit by the stone. So I called the insurance company, and we tried to get it done. We were on our way to Sugar Beets, and everybody was, no, we don't do this. So I called where my brother lives in Arkansas, and there's this guy, and he says, yeah, I'll do it. And he just happens to have a thing with this insurance company. So he ordered the glass and everything. I told him, I said, I want to have the weather strip replaced. And he said, yeah, no problem. He charged me an extra $100 because he had to hire an extra guy to pull both glass out. Anyway, pulled it all out, put it all in. Everything was beautiful. We're driving down the road one day, and poof, the right side popped out again. So we got it back in, and he had put it in there pretty good. And I started talking to him, and I said, well, I have an idea of how to keep that rubber from, it was the actual rubber just peeling off the body and popping out. I said, I think I have an idea on how to fix that. And he goes, what do you think? And I said, well, I could run these screws and they have these really special washers, and I'll just run screws around that corner. He looked at me, smiled, and he says, yep, that's exactly what I would do. So I did it. We haven't had a problem since. So there's a trick to everything. If you know the trick, there's just common sense too. I mean, you screw something in, it's going to be a little harder to get it to come out. I just got tired of going down the road. It's like, is it getting windy to you? Yeah. So let's see. I already did my allergies. Let's see here. If you didn't live 1,250 miles away, Wendy and I would come out for lunch. We will meet up with you when you're in Idaho or Utah. Thank you for Roadside. Yeah, 1,250 miles. I mean, if you get up early in the morning and you drive really fast, that's why we need flying cars.
So you can do 12.
Yeah,
same time.
It's not when you get here. I mean, it's not going to be that exciting. It's the trip, It's the travel.
Journey.
Littlefoot, the area Brian is in. You can only get there if you take a plane or a boat. Internet may be very limited compared to lower states. Yeah, we talked about that ahead of time, but this is, I think for Brian, this is more an opportunity for, to have a really awesome experience and make a lot of dough with he's on a little barge is what he's on, and they just go from unloading the boats over to the facility where they can the fish or whatever they do to it. He just transfers. That's all back and forth back. It's probably pretty
He's going to really miss his van, though, I think.
Yeah, I think he will, but what had happened is when he comes back, he'll have a whole new outlook on it, and it'll be a new, fresh thing for him. So, Teacher Cindy, I was tempted to come work there this month. It sounds like such a blast. Maybe one day we can full-time the summer there for the experience. Yeah, I wish. Dang, I've never met people that have two motorhomes and don't go camping. Anyway, yeah, we'd love to have you, Cindy, and they would love to have you here too. You know, you guys could do Christmas tree. You could do it all. I don't know, you know, you got it. Let's see. Well, nice talking to you. Got to go. Batteries drained. Right in the phone. Got it. Good night to all. Good night, Stephen.
Night, Stephen.
Barry Pierce. Hey, how you doing, Barry?
Hey, Barry.
Old friend of mine
Really
from old times. Barry and I used to be young kids together almost. Yeah, I don't think I have your number anymore, Barry. Somehow you got to send it to me.
Private message him or something, Barry.
Why won't my Mini Winnie go over 95 miles an hour?
Pooh Bear, why are you going 95 miles an hour in an RV?
Yeah, for the life of me, I've had this one up to probably about 80 miles an hour towing the truck. You know, this thing is just like a big blubbering elephant going down the road. It just didn't feel like fun to me. Hi, Steven from Vixia.
Yeah.
It does sound like a fun job. I'd love to work camp one summer. Well, let me tell you something. The bad thing, if you get out here and you go work camping, it's probably not going to be a one summer thing for you. You'll probably find that you'll find that you could do anything everywhere. You know what I mean? If you want to go see Niagara Falls, you can work in New York. There's jobs in New York. If you want to go see the Key West, there's jobs in Florida and Key West. There's just jobs everywhere. There's just so many things to see. And that's the thing. Darla and I are actually looking for a piece of property where I can put a big metal building on and have a place. I want to repaint this motorhome and do different things.
It's a landing point.
Yeah, oh, Leah's here. Elias and Leah here, and Cindy said hi. Where's Stevie Boo Boo? Anyway, yeah, it's once you get out and start living the lifestyle, it's almost when you stay somewhere. That's the hard part about this job. Is it's great, you know, the job's great, it's pretty here and everything. But, you know, you see a motorhome going down the road, and all you want to do is go home and get yours and go. You know, it's like motorcycles, watching a pack of motorcycles taking off for the week or weekend or whatever. All you want to do is go ride with them. And when I was working in that shop, I got to be around motorcycles all the time, but riding them wasn't, other than test driving everybody's bike, which that's another. I used to get some fun things happen riding gangster motorcycles around because people would like, hey, I know that bike, you know, and who's that guy riding it? Of course, once they found out it was me, I was cool. But at first, it wasn't. Let's see. Anyway, okay. Any questions you have for me?
Me?
What? No.
Any questions I have for you?
I wonder how come your hair looks good when you don't wear a hat. And after I wear my hat, I take my hat off.
Today.
I wear a hat and I look at my hair. It looks funky. Looks funky anyway, huh?
At least you have hair.
Yeah. Any questions, folks? Here we go. What's your favorite job so far? Well, money-wise is sugar beets.
Sugar beets.
Sugar beets, and I'm the type of guy I like a little danger in my life, and it could be
dangerous.
My job at sugar beets
Not
could
for
be.
me, it is for him.
I'm opening up these panels and it's 440, and I'm moving these big cords and plugging them into their 440, and I'm dealing with some pretty crazy people.
The only way it's crazy for me is when one of those trucks with a driver in it who's been up for 22 hours driving load after load after load of beets into the yard smacks the scale house with their mirror. That can be kind of scary. It wakes me up.
So listen to Kevin here. This is interesting. I watch a lot of travel YouTubers. They come in three categories: old hippies, young couples, and old geezers. Now I wonder which he thinks we must be old geezers, or because we're not a young couple.
We're not hippies. We're not a young couple.
I could be considered a hippie. I personally like the old geezer. Could be because I am an old geezer. Okay, Kevin. You're not supposed to categorize yourself, because someone might look at you and think, hey, here's this young guy, you know, you never know. Let's see. Hey, Cindy, are you wearing your Beatles shirt? That's a thing between her and I. What do you do when you're not work camping? We do whatever we want. We're in Arizona.
This goes hand in hand with the next question. Do
Yeah.
you work all year? No, we don't.
No, we work about anywhere from 6 to 8 months a year. Most of the time that we take off is in the winter time. Out of all the jobs we have, this is probably the least physical job, I would say. At least, you know, it's kind of more of a kickback job for us.
Well, I will say,
and it doesn't make them. It makes the least amount of money.
It wasn't when we first got here because the cafe wasn't open, so we were doing yard maintenance and we were picking up pine cones and sticks. And you think that's not very big of a deal, but when you're picking up 10,000 pine cones in an 8-hour shift,
after about
toll.
600 pine cones, doing this with a little thing, all of a sudden you're going, this doesn't feel so good.
And that's a fourth category, Cindy, whippersnappers.
Yeah.
That's what she called us.
Yeah, we're just I'm almost to that retirement age. I'll get my first check in October. Darla's been getting hers for a while. She's my old lady until August. Then she's young again. But the thing is they put so many things on it. It makes it a little bit difficult. But you know, I mean, if we want to work, we can work, and then we don't get our Social Security if we make too much. But if we decide we don't want to work, we got backup to fall on. So this year, if we decide we don't want to work 7 months out of the year or 8 months out of the year, we could actually do that because we'll have money coming in. And the thing is, when you're moving, when you're driving this motorhome, and you say you do 200 miles a day, 300 miles a day, it's $120 a day to drive it. But we've had it for 9 years, almost, well, no, we've had it for over 8.5, almost 8.5 years now, right? No, a little.
8 years.
8 years, a little over 8 years. And we put on it about 55,000 miles in 8 years. So it's not like, you know, we put a 20 or 30,000 miles a year on this thing. We don't really put that many. And when we travel, you know, like I say, we save our money when we're like city like this. We right now we're kind of catching up from, you know, having the summer, you know, the winter off, which and doing all the things we did. We went over and worked at my brother's and stuff, but we don't get paid for that. We just sit there and
we just get fed.
Yeah, and so then when we got here, you know, it's like, okay, we want to start building our fund back up again. And then as soon as we hit the road, it's kind of like everything is off. We're not going to worry about things. We're just going to go and have a good time. And, you know, if we want to we want to fill the dash full of snacks, we do what we want to do, you know. And we go out to dinner, and if we see a place that looks really good, we just go in and eat, you know. No Beatles shirt today, but one of my students had a Beatles shirt on, and I had considered it. I should have. I mostly have to dress up now to give school tours to parents for enrollment season. My daughter's, she's a school teacher, and I guess she's kind of running a school now, huh?
Seems that way to me.
How come Leah's so quiet? Are you just watching tonight, Leah? You mostly
stay in RV parks, and why?
Because we like electricity and showers. That's it. And you know what? We like full hookups. We pretty much so when we're traveling, we do have full hookups because we have a 100-gallon water tank. We have a 60-gallon gray water tank and a 40-gallon black water tank. We have a 7.5 kW diesel generator to run everything in this rig. So,
and when we travel, usually we're going from either a family member's, you know, location to a job, or from a job to another job. And during those times, we don't camp in campgrounds. We try to just make it there without having to spend any money on campgrounds, because I just can't stand doing that.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, it's like my brothers. I think this was one of the longest times we stayed there. We stayed about 3 weeks this time, 3 or 4 weeks. They call that mooch docking. Anyway,
that mooch docking.
Anyway, we stayed there, and we, but we worked. We checked the cows for it. We wanted to take 10 days and go on a trail ride. So we watched kept an eyeball on the cows and stuff. So and that works out good. I mean, but when we're traveling, when we're on the road, in this motorhome, you really don't notice the difference between being hooked up and not being hooked up, other than the fact that when slide out stays in, we don't put the slide outs out.
Because
and the generator
in a Walmart parking lot or in a Flying J. Sometimes we'll find an abandoned parking lot of a restaurant or a business or whatever, and we can pull in there. But we just try to be polite so that they'll, not run us off, and so that they won't shut down Walmart availability to us staying there. And then I use we'll talk about this again, Trucker's Manual, the guide for all the Flying J's and the Loves and the Pilots, and who has a dump station, where you can get fresh water, if they have a restaurant there, just different amenities. If they've got a fill station for RVs and a separate parking for RVs away from the trucks. And the other app I use is on the phone, and it's RV Parky.
Yeah.
We like both of those. And we always call. If we're going to stay at a Walmart, we always call and ask the manager if it's all right with them if we stay. Because even though the app may say that it's okay, that could have changed from the time that somebody made that publication on the app to the day that we need to stay there. And so we like to know that, rather than getting there and being surprised and having to drive miles and miles more when we're tired.
Also, as far as boondocking goes, Darla and I did the ultimate boondocking for years. We would do 5,000-mile trips. I would plan a 5,000-mile trip on our motorcycle. We pulled a trailer behind it. I'll put a picture of that on Economic Refugees Group sometime this week. Remember, Economic Refugees Group on Facebook. Check it out.
We have a Facebook page, but we've created a group also. Yeah. Do more on that.
And I put motorhomes, and I put pictures of motorcycles I built and painted and stuff like that on there, cars I built and stuff. Anyway, it's for you guys. If you guys want to talk to one another, you got a question you can ask. It doesn't always have to be me that answers. Anyway, we did this motorcycle thing. We had a trailer, and I had that trailer down where, I mean, I could get a lot of stuff in that trailer, and then we carried 2 ice chests. I had a battery pack so that we had power inside of our tent. We carried a camp stove and a barbecue.
For that kind of roughing it was pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we had an air mattress, and
I slept like a rock.
I think the only tougher situation is hiking and camping. I mean, that would be what you could carry.
You pack in.
But I mean, we didn't have near the comforts you would have in a car even. So I mean, we couldn't haul. Yeah, we carried a lot, but. Anyway, we did that. I don't know how many years. Probably 5 years we went on trips like that, and had a lot of fun at it. I did. I could see your face. It's in the. Anyway.
It's not my.
Look at your face right there. See? She's like. Yeah. Well, part of the problem was we rode through some pretty tough weather. We rode 1 year. We rode like 6 days in the rain. It was just crazy.
When you're in it, there's just nothing you can do. You're just in it. You just got to get through it. And that's just not enjoyable. That part was not fun.
Let's see. When your daughter stay at RV parks, my son and I like to boondock. Yeah, boondocking is fun. In this, like I say, if we go out and we actually were out in the middle of nothing one time with a bunch of friends boondocking in Arizona.
Havasu.
Outside of Lake Havasu. And other than the really rough ride to get into the parking spot, we finally got in there. But, I mean, it was just like the only thing was I had to run the generator about 2 hours a day to keep everything charged up. We have 6 batteries.
But that's not much, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, probably after the week we were there, we probably used about maybe 10 gallons charging the battery, if that.
The people that we boondocked with, they really, really know how to boondock, because I mean, like, they would take a shower once every 3 days. I can't do that, neither can he, thank God. But they would run water to get their shower hot for the time they would take a shower, and they would run it into a pitcher, and then they would use that water to wash their dishes. They did not waste anything.
Yeah, they didn't put anything down the drain.
Right.
So they would wash their dishes in a pan, and they go
then
outside.
Toss it outside.
I don't know what the difference is of pulling the thing and letting the gray water drip on the ground, but I mean, it's the same thing. Let's see. So you find you have to conserve water too much, or run the gen too much for dry camping. Well, yeah, you gotta, even with 100 gallons of water, you know, I mean, you gotta conserve. It depends on how long you're gonna be there. You know, when we're traveling, pretty much we could go on 100 gallons of water. We could go 4 days at least. But, you know, but we definitely take shorter showers. I see people say all the time, oh, you know, we take military showers when we're in a campground. Why? You know? I mean, even if you only have a 6-gallon water
there
heater,
are people that
you
have
can take a
showers and they
10-minute
won't
shower.
use showers in their RV even when they're hooked up. So I don't know.
Hey, you don't have those things. The thing is, for us, this is like us living at home. This is not like us. We're not really campers to the way this is our home. This is where we live. This is how we live. And yeah, we like to go, like today. I mean, we're in a beautiful area. We went to beautiful places and went and saw beautiful things. And if we want to go rafting or we want to go hiking or we want to go bicycle, I got our bikes out today. We can do all that stuff, but we still have full hookups. So when we come home, it's like we're at home. I mean, we have nice breakfast. We have nice dinners. We have barbecue. We go out to restaurants. Our life here, it's like we live here in a house. It really is. And the only thing is when it gets 20 below, we're 2,000 miles away. You know, I mean, we don't have. We were talking with the owner and his wife last night. Super great people. And they stayed here last winter, and they said it was. You know, they dig a ditch. They work for 2 days digging a ditch over from their house over to where the shop. And then it would snow, and it was like they had never done nothing.
Do it again.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gone. We're down in Arizona going, turn the air on. It's hot in here, you know. And that's kind of what, if we wanted to be in the snow, we could.
This last winter, they had a grandchild being born here, so they just wanted to stay. First grandbaby, so I get that. I understand.
Nice to see you, Darla. Looks great. You're getting gray. Oh, Jeff Hosea. Hey, Jeff. Yeah,
Hi,
I'm getting a lot
well,
gray.
I think I keep telling him though. At least he has hair.
But remember, I told you I get better looking every day. I gotta look good, you know. What I mean? Yeah, right. All right, I guess Jeff, you have a pretty nice motorhome now too. You sold that Elite, right? You got another one. Jeff is he was one of my customers at my motorcycle shop, and I've been getting some of the guys that I used to work on their bikes or stuff, or found me on economic refugees, and it's great because it's fun to talk to some of those guys, you know. Actually, the thing is that most of the outlaw motorcycle guys are the ones that have stayed in touch with me all the time. It's weird. You get better looking every day, or your vision gets a little worse. That's my daughter saying that. You are so mean. I hate my children. Now I don't have any favorites. They're always mean to me.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm glad you're liking it.
Yeah, Jeff remembers my kids when they were little tiny guys,
right.
too.
We missed you.
Oh, did he write something else? He's after Cindy. I haven't.
Love your show.
Oh, yeah?
And then Trey's Universe. Too many people think you have to be miserable full-timing and boondocking. My goal was to always make our life easier when boondocking. We boondocked 10 days, then to a park 2. That way we use the water. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people boondock, especially because they don't want the expense of a campsite. So, and I can understand that. You know,
yeah.
if you could go somewhere and get your tanks up, get your get everything filled up, and go out in the middle of nowhere and be conservative on your showers and water usage and electricity usage and all that. I mean, you could probably. I mean, some people could boondock for a month. You know, they got big solar panels and everything else.
Some states have dumping fresh water too at their rest stops. I found that in Oklahoma, I think.
Yeah, I have a guy right now that we've been talking about motorhomes, and he sent me some questions that he had. And one of the comments that he made is that a lot of people with big motorhomes are getting into smaller motorhomes. They're trying to get more compact and stuff like that. And to me, that's great because I know a lot of people that are full timers that are in small motorhomes that want to get into bigger. We have some people that are next to us, and the husband spends most of his time sitting in his truck because they're in a travel trailer. It's just
it's real tiny.
it's uncomfortable. All they have is a dinette, so he spends most of his time sitting in his truck. So if people want to buy a big motorhome right now, Class A, now's a real good time to do it. Of course, it's getting tougher because the season's coming. So a month ago, you could have got everything was out there. But on the other hand, too, a lot of the people like last week I talked about Jax, who was living in a bus, a school bus, and now he's bought a bigger school bus. One of the problems Brian is having is he has a van and he thinks he has a school bus. And he's got so much stuff in his van that in order to sleep and stuff when he gets to where he's going, he has to kind of put stuff outside so he has room to move around in there. And he just has to make a decision. You know, I mean, you either have to buy bigger or you have to get a lot smaller. And a lot of people don't want to give up their conveniences. He doesn't want to give up his tent shower. He doesn't want to give up, you know, the ability to cook. But it's like when I built motorcycles. You know, you can only build an engine so big because there's only so much room in those frames. It's all geometry, the way they set things up. And it's the same way with a motorhome. I mean, if you buy too small a motorhome and you have too much stuff, it's not going to fit. I mean, we're in a 37-footer, and I guarantee I can fill this thing 3 times. I haven't got all my tools in here, not even close. But I have, you know, I see people that store food in their slide outs. You know, under they got the little the dining booth, and they put all kinds of heavy stuff in there, and they can't understand why their slide out doesn't want to go in and out. Well, it's because you got 700 pounds worth of stuff under there. Let's see. Boondocking for the fishing. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man. We were seeing. I was seeing fish like this jumping out of the water. Beautiful.
There's so much water in this area, in this state.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi,
Dad Young's on there. Yep.
Miss you too.
Yep. Let's see. Iowa has Wi-Fi at rest stops. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, some states, California used to have really nice rest stops. Now they're all closed.
Yep.
And
they don't have the funding anymore, they say. I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're funding other countries. So yeah, it's too bad. There's a lot of things changing in the RV world. The quality of the RVs starting to go down. That's why I recommend older ones. I see a lot of these. Right now I see a lot of brand new ones for sale. I mean, 6,000, 7,000, 10,000 miles on them, but they want so much money for them because these people that go out, you go buy the cheapest Integra, it's like $340,000, and then 6 months down the road you realize it's a piece of crap. So you can't get half that money back because everybody else knows they got problems. The thing about it is if you buy something like that, you have to have the patience to work through it. You gotta hound. You gotta keep your foot on the back of the neck of the dealership you bought it from, and make them fix everything on it. Just stay on them until they get it fixed. Because what will happen is once you get everything fixed, if you get upset, you sell it. The next guy's gonna go, hey, this thing's got bad. Everything works in it. Everything's perfect. Dan Young that was on here, I helped Daddy buy a motorhome. He bought a Safari Trek.
Nice one. And
we went over and looked at it. And the more I looked at it, I told him, I said, this was a full-timer's RV. And we got back to, we had 3 dealerships, and there worked. I mean, and that's usually, because anybody, if you ever find somebody that's a full-timer and is selling a motorhome, other than maybe the mileage is a little higher than one that people just leave in the garage, but everything will normally work. And the reason why that is, I mean, if our water heater doesn't work, I'm going to fix it. If our refrigerator doesn't work, I'm going to fix it. I mean, you're not going to be without those items. You know, you might have a screw loose somewhere or something, but you're not going to leave any of the major components of an RV. Full-timers usually don't drive around on tires that are all cracked and everything else. So you usually get good tires, and the oils change because they know the value. You know, this isn't just a vehicle, it's your home. And last thing you want to do is leave your home on the side of the freeway. You want to be able to drive to where you're going. let's see. Why do you? Okay. Speaking of dinette, you like them or not? I like them. Um, I I mean, they have an advantage. They have storage underneath them, and the good thing about that is you can put blankets under there. You can put some games and stuff like that. You just
lighter weight things.
Gotta put lighter weight things. I'll tell you, the type of slide out you don't want is where you see the cabinets go out, and they got those little plastic compartments.
The cargo bays.
Yeah, the cargo bays or plastic
compartments go out with the slide out.
Because what happens is when your slide out goes out, just your slide out goes out. Your all your cupboards and your cargo bays
closed off.
It keeps your RV warm. When the bottom of this RV is exposed, you get a lot of radiant cold.
It's nice because you're not smacking your head on the slide out, but you're cold inside a lot. They have to try to build things
Well, the reason why ours is first generation, that's why it's lower. Most of the newer ones, you could hang those pictures up there.
No, I know, but I mean, you're not smacking your head on the.
Oh yeah, underneath
of
it, yeah.
The cargo bay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I thought you were talking about something else. Yeah. Let's see here. Speaking of dinettes, you like we're not. Yeah, I do like them. I don't eat at the table ever. I have a table right where the camera's sitting on. I have a table here right now. In fact, the other day, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. The leg on this table comes down, and I couldn't fit my foot between the table and the leg of the thing, and
the table collapses down against the wall.
Yeah,
and
it folds against
the wall.
the wall
To support it when it's extended.
I guess I could show it to him, but that thing make that thing go crazy. Anyway, the whole idea behind it for me was, well, I took a router. We have a router here. I routed the thing over, and I moved the leg over about 5 inches, and now I can move my leg, and it's great, you know. And it folds in. Everything works the same. Let's see. Why did you pick a motorhome over a fifth wheel? Well, basically, I picked a motorhome over a bunch of different things. We've had a Lance camper. We've had tow trailers. When I grew up, we actually had a fifth wheel. When I was a kid, one of the very first ones ever made. But I'll tell you the secret is if you're going to stay parked a lot of the time, I would say fifth wheels are probably better. And the reason is you get a lot more space inside with a fifth wheel. If you're going to be traveling more, motorhomes are better. And the reason is because when you're driving down the road and nature calls, all I have to do is find a spot on the side of the road or an on-off ramp or something like that. I don't have to get out and walk back to the trailer. Darla can do anything while we're driving. She makes us lunch. She does all kinds of things. We cook while we're driving. We take our Instapot and make stuff. It just when you pull in, you park, you close the curtains and you go to bed. We leave everything closed up when we're driving down the road. The only thing we have open is our front curtains, and so when we get in. And it's really just a preference. But I find that you can ask Darla, she always said, well, we got to get a motorhome. I want a trailer. We want to be able to drop the trailer and go. Well, now with us, we kind of have the best of both worlds for a couple of reasons. We have our truck, and it's a full size.
That's another thing too. Why we ended up with a motorhome. We didn't want any payments, and our truck was paid for. So to turn around and buy something that would pull a fifth wheel, we would have
had to buy a new truck. And trucks anymore, it costs you more for a truck than it does for a motorhome. It's crazy. They get $50,000-$60,000 for a truck, new, of course. But she always told me, we should have a motorhome, especially with the kids and everything else. And now I look back, we probably would have been a lot wiser instead of buying a travel trailer, because we always had we had Steve and Leah in the back, and Cindy would be in the back for a while, and then in the front, because she was always like fidgeting, and that's she's on here, so she knows. And it would always be, she's touching me, and it's like, okay, we're gonna put Cindy in the front. Then I always thought I'd have to pull over and maybe kill one of them so the other two would be good. But I didn't want to kill any of them, so they survived. Let's see. Love the redundant system.
On the Safari.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Safaris, I'm going to tell you something that's kind of weird.
Oh yeah, you know his had solar too.
Yeah, well, not much, but it had a little.
Still had some.
The Safari is probably one of the most underrated RVs there is. Now, they don't run a Spartan chassis. They usually run a little bit less of a chassis as far as the diesel-powered ones. But, who's that?
Diane.
Oh, yeah, they do have diesel power. They have, some of them, the trucks will have either a Isuzu motor, diesel, and they're in the front, or one of those GM 6.2 diesel engines. And I mean, they're not the best in the world. I'm going to tell you that straight up. They're not gonna go a million miles like maybe you could get out of a Cummins or a Caterpillar. But then when you get to the next size up, you get up to like the Saharas and stuff. You get most of the time you'll get a Cat, which, like I say, Cat motors are great. The problem that's getting to be with the Cats is there's less and less of them in the trucks. As time goes on, it's going to get harder to find Cat mechanics that are going to work on RVs. If you're able to work on them yourself, then you got it whipped. I mean, that's where one of the biggest things is. I tell people to inspect a motorhome. Then you can pay someone $100 to $150, and they'll come out and they'll check them out, and they'll let you know at least the house part of it, and then. You know, everybody has a buddy who's a mechanic. You can pay a mechanic $100 and he'll come over and, you know, he'll eyeball things. You know, a stupid little trick on RVs are you pull the dipstick out and about this far above where the oil level is, if you see a really nasty burn mark on that dipstick, you'll know that they ran that motor pretty hard. When that oil gets hard enough where it goes up there and burns on that dipstick, that's because they've been running the, 10. It's got 2 slides in it. It's like 36 or 37 feet long. And I pulled that dipstick out. That dipstick looked great. And I bypassed that motorhome. We looked at it, walked in it, didn't like it, walked away from it. And then we went back into it again. And we were looking at something else. And Darla says, I think we ought to go back over and look at that Holiday Rambler one more time. So I got a hold of the salesman. I said, I'd like to see that thing out. Let's get it, because it was like crammed up against the fence, and it was a trade-in.
Had just come in.
Yeah, it just came in. And so they moved everything all around. In the meantime, Cindy was coming. And we got that thing out. And they wanted $34,000 for it. And we got it out. We started looking it over, and I started pointing out things. And there was a few things that we let them get away with. But to make kind of a long story short, she ended up getting that motorhome for $18,000, and for another $1,000, they threw in a brand new tow dolly. So for $19,000, she got a really nice motorhome, and the thing runs like a champ. I don't think she hasn't really had any physical problems other than she's got 2 young boys, and they can, they were kind of messing around with stuff a little bit. We fixed it, whatever they did, but it's. They were just having fun,
Okay, our internet is being herky-jerky here.
Is it?
Yeah. We even have a comment.
Uh-oh.
Our Wi-Fi kind of sucks.
Yeah, Cindy says still runs nice.
Love your common sense advice, but your internet connection sucks.
Well, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Do you have anything going on there? You don't have anything on, right?
No.
Okay.
You can see what it's doing.
Huh. What time is it?
Yeah.
Well,
did I hear you say, let's see, buy a home with a motor, Darla knows best, Pooh Bear said.
Well, what I always say is my thing is you give me a house with a steering wheel, I'm pretty happy. I like that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Buy a home with a motor. Okay. Did I hear you say...
Makes a lot of sense. Saves you hours a day in setup breakdown time alone. That's the only thing I dislike about my pop-up camper. Daniel Terrell.
Yeah. Well, a pop-up camper, that's just a really nice tent is what a pop-up camper is. It's a really nice tent. And, I mean, I don't care if you put a rack on the top of your car and put a tent on it or what you do. I mean, I have, you know, it's like I said with motorcycles. People, he's riding a Honda. I don't care what you're riding. You're on two wheels. You're doing the same thing as me. You're just doing it a little different. Same way with this. I mean, if somebody wanted to go camping with us, in fact, when we had our last camper, our kids would come and we'd put tents, and they'd stay in tents on our little campsite. I'm not against any form of camping. I love camping. I mean, I've loved it since I was a kid. And I used to sleep in the back of an El Camino with a camper shell with two dogs when we went camping, and I loved it. That was some of the best times.
Pack.
Yeah, the wolf pack. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Did I hear you say you like buses? If so, I guess that includes Bluebirds and Wonder Lodge.
Yeah, Wonder Lodge, awesome machine.
Bluebirds
very
are too.
Well, they're Bluebird. Wonder Lodges are built by Bluebird. The Wonder Lodge is their motorhome specific thing. We almost bought one years and years and years ago. We just didn't have the money at the time to buy it. But I thought I could wheel a deal with these people, but they, you know, they weren't going to do it. So, yeah, a Wonder Lodge. And one thing about a Wonder Lodge is they're built to last forever. You know, they're a really good, solid machine. There's some RVs that are built to last a long time, and then there's RVs that
disposable
that are big lighters. You know, you run them for a couple of years and you go get a new one.
And yeah, you did say Cindy said still runs nice her motorhome. She also says I slept in a van with 2 kids.
Yeah, she did.
She did, till she got that motorhome. That's what she did. Not ideal, but she did it. What are you looking at now?
I'm sure the trans is the same. Do you think a cat could be changed over to a Cummins pretty easily if the cat went bad? Actually, there is a pretty nice Class A motorhome that's about 20,000 below Blue Book right now that has a blown cat motor in it. I would imagine it wouldn't be that big a deal, really. I mean, all you got to do is feed it fuel, hook up an exhaust system. I wouldn't see where it would be that big a difficulty. Everything is pretty, you know, I mean,
still mount on the same places.
I mean, you order a big truck, I think it's a 3206 and a Kenworth, and he's got a video of his truck on here, and it's got over 1 million hits. I mean, this thing has it looks like a motorhome on the inside. It's beautiful inside and out.
I'll stick a link in here if you guys want to see that.
Yeah, it's got a 7.5 quiet diesel generator. He can't haul any freight because his truck's so heavy, but yeah, the thing is, he painted it the same colors that we had a teal green type color Chrysler 300 Hemi when they first came out. He loved the color, so he painted his truck that. Everything's polished stainless and polished aluminum and chrome. It's a beautiful truck.
He's had it in truck shows.
Yeah, and he's got like an 800 horsepower Caterpillar, but it's got stainless pistons. This whole truck is just a showpiece, and I mean it's awesome. I you know, my brother, he's got a Peterbilt. He's got a Cat and that. I drove that. That thing runs. They just run good. Caterpillar's a great engine. Caterpillar's been around for a long time. They move mountains. I mean, that's how good Caterpillars are. They, like I say, the only problem is availability of repairs on the road. So if you do your own maintenance, that's 90% of what you do. I hear people say, well, you know, if you have a breakdown, you know, things can happen with anything. You know, you have a breakdown with a V10, it's going to be costly. It's going to take a while, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, a lot of Ford dealerships don't want you to drive in with a motorhome, but if you take care of them, you drive them right, you know, you can usually get a lot of service out of any of these RVs. The only motor, and I shouldn't say this because I might get some negative feedback, but the only one that really I've ever had a problem with, and this has been in cars and pickup trucks, is the 454 Chevrolet. It's just, I don't know, it's always a top end problem. Always. I don't know what it is. And I have a friend who has a Bounder. It has a 502 in it. And he's had problems with the top end. Let's see.
We love it. I got it pop up 4 years ago, and it's a huge upgrade from our tent. Plus, my girls go a lot longer now, also.
Yeah. Tell you a funny story. We were camping one time at Convict Lake in the High Sierras, and our kids were there, and some other friends with their kids, and another guy was there, and he had his daughter and her friend.
Who were teenagers.
Yeah, they were all teenagers, and they were in tents, and the girls wanted to be able to take a shower. So we let them take a shower in our
There were
trailer.
no hookups.
Yeah, no hookups. So we had to haul water, and we had a place where you could drain the water, let's say. Anyway, so the second day they came back, they wanted to take another shower. And so I handed them this blue jug, and I said, well, go get 3 of these, and you guys can take a shower. What do you mean? I said, well, you got to put water in the trailer to take a shower. I said, I loaded the water for you yesterday. You guys can do it now. Well, I said, well, how do you think that water comes out? Well, it just comes out. I said, no, you got to fill it full of water. Well, they didn't take showers after that. They were stinkers, too.
They were done.
When you talk to Steve, tell him I miss him this week. I don't know what's wrong with him. I think he lost it. I told him.
He must have a family or something.
Yeah, needs to get rid of them. Hear that or get a motor. I sent him a really nice H3 Prevost, sleeps 6. I mean, he kind of poo-pooed the idea. It was only like, I don't know, $500,000 or something.
Chris McConnell, hi guys. Finally able to catch you live. It'll be short-lived. Got to pack the 5th wheel. Heading out tomorrow after work for a long weekend. Woohoo!
Hey, yeah. Well, we're on a long weekend too. It's been about 8 years worth of weekends and during the week. You have to come join us sometime. Which, yeah, it's the freedom, and I mean, our stress is like, well, we're not getting an extra day off this week. I mean,
it is a lot less.
Yeah.
It's different, and there are still stresses, but it's not like when we had that huge house and that business that we had to try to keep afloat, and bills and bills and bills.
Yeah, we have a question. Have you seen any of those Super Cs? I have seen some who looks like a 18-wheeler turned into an RV. Yeah, that's basically what they are.
And the problem with those that we see, you got to take that to the market. That's all you got to drive. And
well, no, they could tow behind that.
On a
Super C, yeah.
Oh, the Super C, yeah.
Yeah, they're.
I thought you were talking about the big diesels they change and then they haul their trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
5th wheel trailer.
That's. See, now if you're gonna haul a 5th wheel, if you get one of those big, huge trucks, like I had a friend of mine got a diesel truck, and what are you gonna? You go to the market, you gotta. Yeah, it's just. Go get you a 350, one ton.
I have seen some of those where
Dodge
they put the ramp off the side of the truck and they drive up a little tiny smart car.
Yeah, and then you got to worry about getting run over by a skateboarder. Yeah, the Class C's, those big Super C's, those are pretty cool. We've looked at a lot of those. A lot of them have that Dynamax diesel motor, is it, or whatever? The big Chevy. The Chevy V8 motor, diesel, and yeah, they're nice. I've looked into them; they're pretty neat. Yep, the Freightliners are pretty cool too. But I don't know. I like. I'll tell you what. This motorhome, it's just like a big movie screen when you're driving down the road, because just you're right there. I know everybody says, "Oh, if you get an accident," well, you can get in an accident,
On a motorcycle too.
Yeah. You could get in an accident on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
I wish I could dream of the day I can leave behind the rat race of corporate world. Well, Chris, you can. That's the thing. I own my own business. And you know what? I just made my decision. I was sick of it. I mean, every time I would get to a point where I thought it was really going to make it. Everything, I mean, we made a lot of money in our days, but we spent a lot of money too. A lot of times when you own a business, it takes a lot of money to make a little money, and there's nothing worse than working all week. And you believe me, everybody thinks that the owners do nothing, but we work hard too. We work just as hard as anybody in the company. The difference is at the end of the week, everybody else gets paid, and whatever's left over is what you get. And if you didn't make enough money that week, it's kind of hard to explain to your wife on Christmas that the Christmas presents, you got her about $40 to go buy 3 kids presents. So you know, and we were always trying to conserve and try to stay under control, because that credit card thing, once you get into that roller coaster,
Keeps you alive.
yeah. And if I could give anybody advice doing this lifestyle, getting out there and doing this lifestyle, is don't get deep in debt. If you get deep in debt, go out here. You can make it no problem if you're willing to work. But if you want to take time off and have fun and go boondocking, then you don't want to have big. We were next to a couple when we first started out. Are we locked up or are we working?
Don't really know.
We're
working.
We were next to a couple. They were in their 70s and they had over $2,000 a month RV payment, and that basically took all of their Social Security that they were getting, and they were really struggling. I mean,
they were
big time
older,
struggling.
a lot older.
Yeah, and
Even older than us.
And they were not doing good at working either. So I mean, they were one payment away from being homeless, and you don't want to be in that situation. I mean, some people, oh yeah, I love the boondock, and they're in a van, and we actually know someone that's in that situation too, and they're boondocking because they got no choice, and it's your own circumstances. You create your own circumstances. We work real hard when we go to a job. I mean, we keep our campsite neat and clean. I try to keep my motorhome neat and clean. I don't have a bunch of clutter. We have like sides on our awning.
Yeah. Screen
And,
sides.
we keep it neat in there. I keep it swept, and we keep our motorhome, keep the grounds real nice and neat. We don't blaze music and stuff like that. And we work real hard at our jobs. And what we get is we get invited back. A lot of people in this lifestyle, they think it's just party time all the time. And, if you want to do that, that's fine. But you can't do it when you're working. You just got to you got to be in that mode, just like you would be in corporate world.
I don't care if you're in a house, or you're living in a van, or you're doing what we're doing in an RV, or living in an apartment. Debt free that's free. Really is. I mean, you're still going to have bills, yeah, but you're not going to be, I don't know. Credit card debt, I hate credit cards. I hate credit. I just can't stand it. It makes me physically sick.
And Chris, just remember, when you leave the rat race, you're still a rat. That's what I've been told.
Hi, David Davis. Trey says having employees is the biggest stress. Being the boss has its own set of problems. Chris says, understand, been my own boss too. Each has its own set of problems. Just got the kids out of school and college.
Yeah, well, like here, last night I was talking with the owner here, and the guy's really, he's a good guy. I mean, he's really a good guy. And I mean, he's got 50 employees here, and he's probably got about 20 that really carry the load. And he just says, I mean, I have to keep the other 30 so I don't lose the 20.
He said, I have to hire 3 to get 1
right.
that works.
And
the way it is.
But if he doesn't keep the volume of people that he has, then he'll lose the other ones because he'll just work them to death. So, and he understands. And the sad part about it is, for us, is we always work really hard. And we worked with a person last year that I don't know, I guess people thought she was pretty good, but all she ever did was sit on a stool while we were there. She would work with us, she would just hang out with us and never do nothing. So, really, like I said, the next job we go to, my crew's about 70 people. There's actually people out here tonight that have worked in my crew, and I have a philosophy. When I work with people on my crew, I try to make sure they have everything they need, and I give people, I put people in positions where they have to step up. Dan Young on here, he worked for us. I got him a position operating a skidster, and by the end of the year, he was operating a over $1 million machine, piler operator. And I mean, if he had started at the beginning of the year, there would probably be no fear factor, but he was a little bit tense, and I think it was all on it. But by the end of the season, I mean, he had everything mastered on that yard. He could pretty much run just about any piece of equipment there, and he could go back there. He could do my job if he had to, and that's what that's the whole thing. I'm not afraid to train people to do what I do, because there's going to be a day when I'm not there and they can do it, you know? What's wrong? Are we locked up?
No, not on that, yeah, but not on this.
Yeah, I think we maybe too many things are running in here. Let's
What
see.
do we have on time, guys? How long we been?
About an hour and 20 minutes. We've been running about 2 hours, and what's amazing to me is we get over 300 people watching. So.
Speaking of you keeping your rig neat, how big a deal is the age restriction on some RV parks? That
It's not.
I kind of got a bone with that with these RV parks because,
We don't go to them.
yeah, we actually got offered a job and then they found out the age of our rig and they're like, oh, first it was like, oh, you're so qualified, you can do this. Yeah, we'd love to have you. You know, and then they found out that, you know, our rig's a 95 and they're like, oh, we can't have that old. It's just, that's the bylaws of the campground. We can't do that.
We probably
So-
could have told them it was 8 years old. They wouldn't know the difference.
That's true. They probably wouldn't have.
Because our motorhome
And some
doesn't
of
look
them-
that.
Some of
It's
them will
23.
ask for a picture of your rig. Fine, we'll do that. But these guys didn't even ask. And I mean, this RV to me looks nicer than a lot of ones that are 5 or 6 years old. So I don't really think that matters. I think if they want to see a picture of the rig, that's okay. But, you know.
Yeah, by the way, Chris, we homeschooled our kids. And there's ways to go to college. I don't know. Our kids, they all went to college. They have at least their bachelor's. The thing is that a lot of these colleges anymore, your kids don't learn anything. You know, basic skills living this lifestyle they'll learn. Actually, they'll learn more living this lifestyle than they will in college. I mean, of course, you know, the big thing anymore is the kids are drunk and stoned, and the girls come home pregnant and everything else. But I guess there's some sacrifices you have to give for it. But anyway, don't, you know, if I had to say anything, and this is just my stupid opinion, I would take my kids on this lifestyle if they were little. And I think because they would probably grow up a lot better, a lot more stable, have more understanding. I don't know if you guys saw what I put on economic refugees this week, but it was called Interview with God. I wish you guys would to look at that, because it's not like it's a preachy thing, but it just gives you like, man, it's beautiful here, and there's so many wonderful things about where we live that 90% of the people will never see. They'll never see. They'll never know it.
Taking the
But we
drive
do.
today, and I mean, we've been in this area for 2 years, 2 summers now.
Saw a beautiful
We took a
82
drive
Corvette
that
today
was
for
just
sale.
ama- Yeah, talk
was
about
beautiful.
God's beauty, and all Bill sees is the Corvette.
Yeah, well, I like Corvettes.
We could tow that behind the pickup.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Well, yeah, we could, or load it in the pickup. I wouldn't want that riding on the ground. Yeah, it's there is. It's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's like riding a motorcycle. If you've never rode a motorcycle, you have no idea what it's like to ride a motorcycle. You don't understand that when you get out there, you start riding along, and the breeze and the feel, and you know, you're just one with the engine. You know, I think the worst thing they ever did was rubber mount engines on motorcycles. I don't know. I really
Chris-
like my Springer Softail.
Chris says, have a good evening. Catch you next week. Thanks, Chris, for joining us.
Thank you.
So there's enough alternative RV parks to go to, Old Pete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
We've
not
never
that
had a
many
problem.
that have that age stipulation on your RV.
You
There
could go
really
to
aren't.
any KOA. KOA will take. I mean, they have a policy. If you could tow it in and tow it out, they'll let you come here. That's, I think, all there is
You know
to
what?
it.
I said that I would put a link to something. I'll have to watch this again and remember what I said I put a link to. But anyway, I can't put it in the
To
video.
Ernie's
but
truck.
I'll put it below the video, because these lives I can't edit them at all. So, but I'll put it in the description so you guys can watch that. How much does a truck driver or skidster driver make at Sugar Beets? So the truck drivers are hired by the farmers. So I don't really know how much they make, but they do make good money. And if you've got your Class A,
I think they get about $20 an hour, but
you go, literally, those guys drive anywhere from 14 to 22 hours a shift. Because once harvest goes, we just roll until
Yeah.
it's done. And if a farmer doesn't have enough drivers, guess what? You're behind the wheel.
We
It's
work in the
dangerous.
yard. I'm what they call a dump foreman because they come and they dump the beets in the
That's what I call
in the
it,
yard.
too.
We have 10 machines that are on quarter-mile runways, and they start at the far end of the runway, and we pile the beets up to 30 feet, and then we start backing up 10 inches at a time, and we go that quarter mile 10 inches at a time. And last year we did 1,328,000 ton is what we did last year.
What's a skid steer operator get to start?
I think a skid steer operator makes about 15 something an hour, and like 15.45, and a piler operator makes about, this was last year, which it'd go up 15 to 85. But the thing is that Monday through Friday you work an 8-hour shift at that, and then you get 4 hours at time and a half, and then Saturday all day Saturday is time and a half, and Sunday is double time. So Darla and I, between her job and my job, we make over $800 on Sunday. So you get 2 weekends in, you make some pretty good money. So
it's such a short period of time. I don't know. And the people are awesome. And it's right there in a town where you've got everything you could possibly need, and the campground is phenomenal. I mean, it's the prettiest campground we've ever been to.
yeah.
And we don't pay for that.
Right, it's all free. Well, yeah. If anyone's interested in sugar beets this year, if you want to be on my crew, you might be a little bit. We have a waiting list for our crew. We always do. Our crew fills up really fast. There's 4 of us, and Art's the head foreman, and his brother, who is Art and Randy, are 2 of the greatest guys that ever walked on this earth. And then there's Dave, and Dave and I kind of work together. Dave's more of the mechanical end of the machines. I'll go reset things and do things on the machines, but I'm not really I'm more of the dealing with the personnel, and that means dealing with people problems, and all that kind of stuff. But I deal with the personnel. I do the training. Have you ever been stopped by the cops? Where is that? Do you see it?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. In all the driving you've done, have you ever been stopped by the cops, Kevin? In all your years of travel, have you been stopped by the police?
I've never been stopped by the cops, but I'll tell you what happened to us one time. We were headed to Gate Guard in Carrizo Springs, and we were about 80 miles from the border, and we were headed to the border, and the Border Patrol made us stop.
Well, they had a check.
Yeah, they had a checkpoint, and they wanted to search the motorhome, and I told them no. He goes, well, we could search that motorhome if we want to. I said, well, yeah, you have to have a search warrant. This is my home. Said, this is more than a motor vehicle, it's a home. And he goes, well, the dog's reacting. I said, yeah, well, we have food in here. That's probably why. I wasn't going to let him search it. So he I wasn't trying to make him mad, but I was trying to let him know, because a lot of times what they want to do is just come in and take guns and stuff like that. I didn't want him coming in here and just ransacking my home. So he goes, well, how about this? If you just let me come in and stand on the first step and shine my flashlight, because he told me, he goes, well, we're looking for illegal aliens. I said, well, why would we be taking them to the border? That makes no sense at all. I said, you were looking for something else. I go, I don't know what you're looking for, but we ain't got it here. I'm just telling you straight up. So anyway, we came to an agreement, and I stood on the step. I opened the door up. He walked into the first step, shined his light. He looked at me, he goes, all right, you guys are good. And he let us go. If I had that situation today, I wouldn't let him do that. It's none of their business what I have in my home. And I don't like people, I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot and I said, hey, I want to go in your house and check your house out, that wouldn't happen. So we have constitutional rights still for a while longer anyway.
Hi, Steve.
Ah, Stevie just got home. We're Trey. Steve's here. Let's see. Trey's been wanting to know where you're at, Steve, and Leah and Cindy are here too.
Cindy had to go.
And Cindy had to go. All right, let's see. All yours, Charlie. Okay. Someone else was asking me if we grow marijuana. No,
Trey says
we're not in.
all you have to do is pop on and say hi, Steve. He knows you're busy, but come on, at least say hi. Cindy's still there? Okay.
There are, I on Work Camper News, they're looking for people who want to grow marijuana. I don't, that's not what I want to deal with. I wonder why Leah's not here. Leah Turner. She just
yeah.
sent a thing to Facebook.
Leah Turner Mason?
Yeah. Tell her how to get here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's potatoes. There's all kinds of crops. We had friends who used to drive truck in Washington for the apple. And they made,
Yeah, apple
boy,
harvest.
you talking, they made big money. Real dude go, what was that? Real dude go what?
So I had to block somebody, and I was trying to just kind of gloss over that because the comments were getting out of control. So we'll move on.
Okay, done. Talk about sausages or something while I get a coffee. Yeah, well, see, I have this. My favorite color is black and blue. Hey, Steve, Teacher Cindy. Hey, Cindy. Steve's here. Hey, Steve. Steve, you're like a superstar
Celebrity.
out here, yeah. Looks like you have a troll in the chat. Oh well.
Oh, I got rid of him.
Thanks for showing us where you worked the other day. Yeah, you know, as far as the troll thing, honestly, you know, I've dealt with trolls all my life. You don't want to be a troll around me, trust me. It would not be. May take me a while to find you, but if I do, it would not be a fun thing for you. Okay.
He's gone now, so.
But you deleted him from the
I
thing?
blocked him.
Yeah. Looks like you have a troll in the house. You don't grow it, you just smoke it. Yeah. No, I don't.
That's what we do.
Thanks for showing us where you worked the other day. Thanks for the answer about the law enforcement. I worry about being stopped in some states. You know, the thing is, with this, I travel 62 miles an hour unless the speed limit's slower. If I'm in a 55 mile an hour zone, I actually have to travel about 58 miles an hour to get this thing in high gear. So I'll travel 58. In California, all the laws, because we are towing, it's 55 miles an hour. No matter what the speed limit says, for me, it's 55. But I have to travel like 57 or 58 miles an hour, or I run in fifth gear, and it kind of hurts my mileage. Let's see, you guys all are friends now. I miss it when you aren't here. Well, what you have to do is you have to work at KOA Hayward. Next year, we'll all be here. And then we'll all come over here and we'll do a video. There'll just be people all, we'll get some more of these little chairs and we'll all just sit here and talk to the trolls.
Talk to the trolls, that would be interesting.
Yeah, my
We'll probably
son,
get subscribers then.
my son says a troll means you finally made it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you make it. All your friends wouldn't take kindly to trolls. Well, yeah, and you know,
I actually
there's nothing
really-
you can do about it.
I was
People are
trying to
just
ignore
that
them
way.
because if you ignore them, you know what Mom always said, just don't pay any attention. They'll get tired and move on.
Were you knocking them off before they came out here? Is that what you're doing? Because I didn't see it.
No, he, she, whomever, made 3 or 4 comments, and then people were starting to get irritated. Said, somebody block that jerk. So I did.
Good night, Sydney. I love you too.
Love you, Sam. Zimbabwe. That's what Stevie called her.
Yeah. Terry Beck. What type of truck? We are looking for a truck and a trailer now. Well, you know what determines what kind of truck you need is what kind of trailer you get. So what I suggest is if you're going to get a small trailer, get a smaller truck. You can the thing, anytime you're towing, you're gonna get probably better fuel economy with a diesel. Some people are really afraid of diesels, and to be honest with you, I hated diesels until I owned one. And this is the first diesel I've ever owned. I've been, because I worked at Oldsmobile back in 1979, 80, and 81, and those diesels were those converted gasoline engines that were just, you could just hear the motors just coming a wow and coming down the street. There's, you hear the bottom end going out on the motor. And I thought diesels were junk. But, you know, they're pretty easy to work on. They, I mean, at least these older ones. I don't know about that. I've ran the rack on this one, reset all the valves. I mean, I've done all that stuff, and it's a lot simpler than you really think. It's real easy. It just, It looks, because the engine is so big and all that stuff, it just looks real intimidating, but really it's not that bad. You know, I mean, starters are heavy, and they're, you know, I took the starter out of this thing to change that rear main seal. The dumb thing about it was I didn't have to take it out. I thought that's where you know, I never change a rear main seal on a diesel motor. And they got a little thing, you take a bolt, and turns to the side, and there they are. You know, you just spin the crank around, and boom, you take one out and spin it, boom. I thought I had to take the starter out. So, you know, I made more work for myself than I needed to. Let's see. Do you have a mail service? If so, with who?
I'm getting that.
Tried to get info. Okay. Yeah, we do. And we register our vehicles. They help us do that. We vote, but we don't vote anything local. We only vote the national things. We've got our insurance through a company through them. They turned us on to. We've been with them since the beginning. Yeah, there's a lot of things. If you want to know everything, watch V2 on YouTube that we put out. V2, that'd be V and 2. It tells you everything you need to do to start this. Get into your passport. Why? Who to get for a mail service and why, all the different things. We have to go once every 5 years to South Dakota, which we go through there every year anyway, but we have to go there every 5 years and spend one night in Tower Campground and go to the DMV, and then we're good for another 5 years.
So this is the company. I don't know if you can see that. It's your best address. Might have reflection on there. Anyways, I'll put this information down below also after we are not live anymore in the description. But that's who we use. We've been with them for 8 years. And Tina is who we talk to. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, call her Tina, may I help you?
Every time.
She'll think you're me.
Every time Bill calls her, she always answers the phone. Thank you for calling your best address. This is Tina, may I help you? And Bill always says,
We got
hey,
another.
Tina, may I help you?
We got another troll again.
He probably has several accounts.
How do I feel? I haven't seen any, so I can't tell you how I feel.
Okay.
Block that pose. Hey, you know what? Let him speak. Just ignore him. Not a big deal. Let's see.
I don't see
350 diesel had one, yeah. They actually made one that was a 260. You talk about, I mean, they would smoke. You'd have to turn them up as high as you could. They'd smoke like crazy, and they wouldn't even move. They were crazy.
I don't know why.
If you had to choose a 3/4 or a 1-ton truck to pull a 30-foot fifth wheel, with what truck would you choose? Well, you know, the Dodge, Ford, and the Chevy, depending on how much a 30-foot fifth wheel, I would say probably a diesel is going to be your best, and any one of the three are good. You get the difference between a 3/4 ton and a 1 ton is just you get a little stronger suspension. I mean, it's another expense. You could probably get away with a 3/4, but if you can afford a 1 ton, it might be better to buy a 2-year-older 1 ton as opposed to it. You always, if you can, you always want to overdo, because if you load your trailer, if you're going to live in it, you want to get bigger is better, stronger is better. That's what you want. Because if you start loading up, or you all of a sudden you decide you want a generator, well, you could put a 3,000 watt generator in the back of that truck and have the same thing as I have. You know, you want to, you remote start it, boom, and you're on. You got power. You know, that's what you want to do. I would always go bigger is better. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. You were right about those cheap Chinese tires. Took a ride today in Upper Michigan. Helped a guy change one on a new trailer. Yeah, 30 miles away from the dealers, they were popping. Crazy. The Chinese tires are just junk. Hopefully you told the guy, hey, I watched this dummy on YouTube, and he told me to go buy light duty truck tires, and maybe I should tell you. You know what I mean? We use America's mailbox in South Dakota. Yeah, I think they're out of Rapid City is where they're at. If you block him, you no longer see him.
I did block him just now.
I had a 2001 250 with the 7.3 liter Power Stroke. Yeah, that I heard that was the one to get. That 7.3. That's it. They put an international motor, international harvester diesel motor. That's what the engines are. And international. A lot of the trucks driving up and down the highways have international diesel motors in them. I guess the one that was really a toad and didn't hold up was the 6 liter. So as long as you stay away from that one, I think you're okay. But there was the early 7.3s. They were some tough dudes. They ran and ran and ran. They're like a 5.9 Cummins in the older Dodge trucks. They really they have some muscle. Like and the one the diesel and the Chevy trucks. I mean, they do good too. You know, it's just some people like the way the Ford looks. I have a Dodge truck with a V6 with a manual 6-speed transmission in it. I love that truck. I love it. I mean, I've already got plans. It's got 116,000 miles on it. When the engine goes out, which probably be 250,000 miles, it's a overhead cam Mercedes motor or something in there. I'm just gonna and put a clutch in it, and away we go again. You know, I'm gonna have to paint it again. When I paint the motor, I'm gonna paint the truck, and I'm gonna probably paint the truck black and blue this time. Okay, so Rosalie is talking to Kevin. So I hope you're reading that. She thinks the 1 ton is better.
He did.
So that's
he said
good.
Thank you to her later.
Yeah. So this is what I'm really hoping for is for people. You know, we that one of the videos we did, we were talking about you know, getting hair out of the drains, and Gene Ward, I think his name is, he put a thing. He said, hey, they got this little thing for $3 at Walmart, and instead of having a pair of pliers and all, we bought one.
Works great.
Awesome.
I put that on the page too, but that was on the Facebook page.
I learned a long time ago. You know, a lot of old people are stuck in their old ways. Always, you can't. I'm not that way. That's not how you show me a better way or a better product or something. I'm open-minded.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. I mean, my whole life I've been mentored. That's how I learned how to work on motorcycles. In fact, I found the guy who taught me how to work on motorcycles. I haven't seen him in years, and I found him on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, I've always, I wasn't a good student in school, but I've been a good student at life. Gotta run. Bye-bye, Bill. Bye-bye, Darla.
Bye, Makio.
Bye. You have a great one. If you get a chance, you get a chance to come back. We're almost done, though. What are we? We got about 15 more minutes, folks. How heavy is your trailer? Okay. Are you talking to me?
I think he's talking to Rosalie.
Oh, okay. There you go. Terry Black. All right. You made 130 miles. LOL. Well, he did good. Was that the guy got the blowout? He's lucky he got a... Yes, the 6.0 was garbage. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I actually worked at Ford from 1973 to 1978. And back then, you know, the coolest truck on the road was an F100 4x4. Those things were just beautiful, cool trucks. Ford, for Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, they've always had to make good trucks. If you don't make good trucks, I mean, those are big sellers. That's what people want. You know, you come up here and you go to the Ford dealer, you have to ask if they have cars, because all you see are trucks. They don't sell. And everything
like
around here is just body rotted from the salt, man.
They salt the roads because of all the snow, and then it just rusts the wheel wells out and the floorboards. It's terrible.
You wonder how you could drive a half a vehicle down the road, but they do it around here. How do you learn so much about all this stuff? You live a long time and you keep your ears open. You know, you always hear me talking, but you haven't seen me learning. When I'm learning, I'm listening. And then when it's my turn to talk, I try to share. That's what I do. You know, the cameras and the microphone is facing us. And I mean, I would love it if you guys could. I mean, you guys can talk to us, but not like. I mean, I would love to sit and talk with people. You know, you could ask Lynn and Joan. I mean, we visited for what, a couple hours. We had a great time, and I learned something from everybody I meet. I mean, I do. I learned something every single day. I learned about okie dokie yesterday.
Plus, he has an aptitude for it. That helps.
Yeah.
Kind of like our son with computers.
So Terry Beck, how heavy is your trailer and what kind of hit? So they must be talking to each other.
Yep, that's
someone
cool,
else.
guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know Rosalie just
I just
answered you, Terry.
Thank you, Bill, for doing these live chats. I am not on the road yet, but soon I will be. Your information is helpful. So, Kevin, the thing I could say for you is you know what? You're a wise person because you're learning. Another thing you want to do is practice runs to your dealership. Go to RV shows. We always went to RV shows. We went to RV shows almost every year. I walked through one of these motorhomes in 1995. Starting to sound
Brand
like
new.
Little House on the Road, huh? Anyway, yeah, I went through when it was brand new, walked through it. I told her, I said, man, that's a nice motor. I would love someday to have that. You know, I mean, they wanted 250 grand. This was back in 95. Well, I got it. They got it for 25 grand. 10% of the price.
So, Terry says no, he's talking to us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What kind of we don't pull a trailer. We pull a truck. We pull a full-size Dodge Ram 1500 two-door with a camper shell, 2 bicycles, and a spare tire in the back.
It's our rolling garage.
Yeah, it's our shed. It's our, you know, I took the bikes out today, but yeah, we pull that behind this motorhome. This motorhome, this thing could pull a total between what it weighs and what I tow, 42,850 pounds, and right now we're at about 36,000.
Okay, thanks.
Let's see. Trucks are almost like religion and politics. My advice is find a used low mileage Dodge, run with a HO 5.9. They're getting harder to find. Ford is only making 2 cars starting next year.
Really?
Well, I don't know about the Ford thing. I haven't heard that. Yeah, that 4-valve 5.9. Yeah, they put a lot of those in motorhomes, and I don't like racing with that. But I shouldn't say racing, but basically, I had a friend who had a Discovery. Of course, it only weighed about 19 or 20,000 pounds, so I had to buy about 10,000 pounds. But that 5.9, man, that thing would walk me on the Cajon Pass.
True.
And but the thing is I had a lot more weight, you know. And this thing, it doesn't stop. It slows down. But man, that 5.9 4-valve, that's a runner machine.
Franklin Smith, Wisconsin is hard on cars. I wash ours every week in the winter.
Yeah.
You'd have to get all that rot off.
So Franklin, if I lived in Wisconsin, I'll tell you, when I worked at Ford and I was a lot boy, they gave me the option to be able to undercoat cars.
Yeah.
Because no one ever wanted to do it, but I like getting the extra $20 for undercoating a car. But I'll tell you what, I'd undercoat it
Heavy.
big time, because I'll tell you what, we've seen cars where half the door's gone and half the fenders are gone, and the bumpers you can see through the bumpers and the exhaust system. I mean, crazy stuff. And these cars are only like 10 years old.
Yeah.
I guess it's you know, how lucky you are by how heavy they salt the roads in front of your house. Terry Beck, my pickup is a 1997 350 diesel, and fiver is a 9,550 pounds empty. Think that pickup can haul at least 16,000.
Rosalie is telling Terry.
Oh, okay. I just wonder if it's a diesel. I would say yes. Jake, on that worked well, but smaller is better.
Ford's still making pickups, SUVs, vans, and then just the Mustang and a new style Fiesta, I believe. All other cars canceled. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, so many things. I talk all the time that, you know, when I was a kid, I had a pretty fast car, and it was putting out. It was a 289 Mustang, but it was putting out over 400 horsepower, dual quads. and I had a 271 top loader, and I had 3 different sets of gears. My lowest set of gears were 514s, and man, that thing was a go-getter. Like 13 seconds in the quarter mile. Now you can go down to the Ford dealer, you buy a 600 horsepower V6, and it just eat that thing alive. Just a couple of with a little computer thing, and they're just hauling 1,000. You get 1,000 horsepower out of a Mustang now. It's just crazy. I wish I was a kid as far as cars go, but I of course, the old cars, if you had 1,000 horsepower in those things, you were dead. I mean, they didn't handle like these new cars do.
The Ford and the Fiesta. That's it. And sold in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I've tried undercoating years ago. Nowadays, I just wash it with an underbody flush after every snowfall when they salt the roads. You know, the undercoat they used to use, you had to wear a suit. And I mean, it went on there, and you would go and you'd spray a light coat, and then and it was tar. I mean, it came out of these big drums. And I'll tell you what, you undercoat your car with that, it's like driving a rubber car. It really is.
Any tips about pulling a toad? Don't get a blue ox. That's my tip.
Yeah, well,
I don't like them. We've had a lot of problems with ours.
Yeah. One tip I have is video V3. Watch our V3 video. It's about Roadmaster. When you're towing a car, when you have a motorhome and you plug your hitch into your receiver, you'll see that. I mean,
tires.
I was constantly like this with the steering wheel. I could never keep.
And it puts wear on your tires.
Yeah, and I could on some roads when the wind was just right, I could actually see the truck out the right mirror once in a while. And so I put that Roadmaster Quiet Hitch controller deal on there. Man, it got rid of all that. That and greasing your front end. On these, you got to keep things lubricated. The ball joints, once they start getting dry, the front ends start getting a little wibbly wobbly and wobbly. So you want to keep everything greased up real nice.
And it's always nicer to be able to tow on all four rather than having a tow dolly, because a lot of these campgrounds, if you have a tow dolly, where are you going to put the tow dolly? You usually have
to slide it under the RV,
yeah.
But a lot of times they'll charge you for a third vehicle.
They will. So that's cool.
But the reason why.
And another thing is, some of these vehicles you can't tow unless they're like
front wheel drive.
Yeah.
You know, automatic front wheel drive. You've got to have a tow dolly. I put all my Blue Ox stuff on myself. I did all the mounting.
Base plate and all that.
Roadmaster, I say Roadmaster is probably better than Blue Ox. Demco makes some pretty good stuff. Blue Ox has out a new tow bar right now that I got into it with Blue Ox over at the I have to have my Blue Ox rebuilt every year. $30 every year for a 10,000 pound hitch that's pulling a 5,600 pound truck. So to me, I would think that I bought double what it should have, because I could have bought a 6,500 pound hitch. So I bought the 10,000 because I wanted to overkill. That's how I do it. And the stupid thing has to be rebuilt every year. So I just told him, I said, next time I'm going to build, I got a fabricator guy, and I'll just make a deal that goes right on there. Just a regular tow bar with a ball. Because I'm tired of playing games with it. You know,
it's always a headache.
And one time it didn't lock in. Once I didn't lock in, we drove 45 miles, burned out both my front tires. Fried them. They were gone. So, yeah, not a good thing.
Roadmaster's a better option.
Yeah,
I don't know about the Falcon too, Franklin.
Yeah, I don't know. But I haven't done a lot of research.
They're better.
Like I say, I think if I ever get rid of this Blue Ox, I have the Evente, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
If I ever, that's not a coffee. If you
not venti.
Oh, okay. If I ever get just fed up with this, I'm gonna go to just one of those old, like, the military deals, you know, with the ball hitch on it.
Old school.
Yeah, old school, and that's fine, because the disadvantage to those is it's hard to line it up by yourself to get it on the ball. But I have her, and if she's not there, then they have these things with magnets, and you just line them up, boom, and then you just get it close, and then push the truck on there and drop it on. That's all there is. Yeah, I would probably definitely go to the Roadmaster. Like I said, we had a one of those Patriots, $1,000 Patriot for the brake controller, and I liked it because you didn't have to put a bunch of stuff in the truck. All you had to do is plug in a cigarette lighter, set it on the floor, hook it to your brake, and hit the button. And bada bing, it's got a remote control to my dash. It's wireless. Real simple. We first bought it. You hit a bump, it shut off. You hit the brakes, it shut off. It was constantly. And I was calling him and I was talking to him at the show. Oh no, you just don't know how to drive. You don't know this, you don't know that. And finally, when we were working at Brett's RV, I was telling him, I go, we got like 3 of these in stock, and I'm about ready to go talk to the owner about sending them back to you, getting away from Blue Ox stuff. So I sent it to them. They charged me $110 and told me there was nothing wrong with it. And they sent me because I had marked it. They sent me a whole brand new unit. So they lied to me. But anyway, the new one works. And I read that there was a lot of problems with those early. So they did. In the end, it cost me $110 to get what I should have got to begin with for free. I don't usually like to talk down to companies about companies, but there was a comment made where they kind of called me a liar, and I don't like that. So I had to kind of make a few comments back and get nasty with them. And by the time we were done, I got things straightened out, so we're good to go. What do we got? We got
Braking systems.
Couple minutes.
Preference towing a Ford C Max hybrid.
Well, like I say now, there's brake, but there's air ones. There's ones where you go into your master solar. You place the lines. There's a bunch of different kinds. With a diesel pusher, I'll tell you a little story. We were in, that's what my mom used to say. Let me tell you a little story, Billy. Anyway, we're in Kingman, Arizona. We were in a Flying J. We got fuel, and there's trucks going everywhere, cars going everywhere. Darla says, "Well, go left, go left." Well, that was a Denny's parking lot. And it was a dead end. So we had to unhook the truck. So I'm trying to get the truck unhooked, and this guy comes over and he's trying to sell me. I don't know.
He's got a duffel bag full.
Yeah, he's trying to sell me something. I said, no thanks, man. Oh, no, you got to understand. I just turned around, looked at him. I said, you don't understand. Beat it. I'm not real happy right now. And he goes, okay. Dude. So he leaves, and we get the truck, and we get the motor home. And, there's people sitting there like, hey, man, I want to get out,
Blocking everything.
So anyway, we finally get turned around, get going the other way, and we're hauling butt. We get the truck all hooked up, get everything all back together. And we get out on the road. We're going down the freeway at 55, 60 miles an hour. And this truck comes by. He's pointing back. Then I'm like, what's wrong with him? I look in the rearview mirror. We got the back mat screen going on. So I pull over to the side of the road.
Smoke pouring out of the tire where the wheel well.
Emergency brake was on. This motorhome would have drugged that truck with all 4 wheels locked up. Would have never known. 2 wheels were locked up, and then
we couldn't feel it at all.
So anyway,
Moral of the story is check the emergency brake.
Well, the other moral of the story is the brakes on that truck aren't going to do anything.
Don't listen to me when she says, turn left.
When she turns left, I park, get out, and look. And then I get back in the motorhome. But it's this thing's got so much torque. It doesn't even now. If you were in a Class B or Class C and you're pulling a car, you're going to notice probably more. I like the little brake thing. I mean, you know how I know when it's working? A little yellow light comes on the little controller, and it says, "Okay, your brakes are on." Okay, it's working, I guess. But I have it where I can manually do it, and it will hold this motorhome from moving in an idle. But that's about the only thing it will do. Let's see, towing a Ford C-Max hybrid. Great story. Thank you. It's true. I mean, everybody tells me I should write a book. I'm going to write a book.
Kevin says, let me guess, Darla's fault.
Well, remember I told you guys that in the very beginning, every time something went wrong, it was Darla's fault. But I've kind of gotten over that.
You're a lot better.
Yeah. So, but it's it's that biker mentality, you know. I mean,
No, it's not.
yeah, it is.
It's just you.
Trey's going to bed, and Steve, talk to you next week. I will buy your book. Yeah. So at least I got one copy sold. Anyway, we're at
autograph it.
we're at hour 2. We were 205 or 206 the first one, 205. What was it last week? 204.
It was 206.
Was
Right
it?
on the same thing. And then one more question too. John says, "What was your job at Brett's? He bought his first motorhome from them under Montana LLC in 2006."
There you go.
We both sold parts.
We were both
and
in parts.
He did,
The walkthroughs.
walkthroughs
I
on
did.
delivery.
Yeah, I did the motorhomes and trailers and stuff. And you know what? What was so funny is an old used motorhome would come in. I get all excited about delivering an old used motorhome. People would be just like, "Really, you like this?" And really, you know, we bought it. We didn't know that. And then I'd be delivering it in Integra, and I'm like, "Yeah, and you know, you can't get through into the bedroom with the slide outs. They only give you an opening this
After
big."
they signed the loan docs and they can't get out of it, Bill's
Yeah.
going, "Yeah, this
Yeah, I get them after they've signed all the paperwork, and I'm going, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, I wish I would have known all this before I bought it." And I go, "Well, you know, you only have to put the slide out. Well, you got to put it out a little further for you, but the average person, you know." Anyway, you know, the trouble with it is the old motorhomes are getting older. It's too bad we can't keep them to last
and
forever.
Bob Welter says 2 copies.
Yeah, I see that. But yeah, well, you guys, we're gonna cut this thing off
One
now.
more thing. Franklin
No.
says new motorhome owners bought a Jayco Class C 32 foot.
Yeah, you bought a brand new one. Let me tell you the bad thing about Jaycos now. They're owned by Thor.
Now that you signed the loan docs.
Yeah, now they're owned by Thor. So don't ever have anything go wrong with it unless you can fix it yourself. But you know, Jayco's always made a pretty good product. The problem is, like I said, is that they sold out to Thor, and Thor is notoriously bad for
They don't like
their
to stand
warranty.
behind their warranties.
They
at
do
all.
not. They do not. When you
He
got
says, "I know."
when you got a broken part, they put you on what they call back order. And if you don't know what back order is where they're growing the trees to make the paper so they can make the boxes so they can put the part in the box and send it to you. So that's what back order means when you work for Jayco.
You need to do this every day.
Well, we love you guys, man. It's so fun. I just love talking to you guys, and it was kind of exciting. We had a troll tonight. It's kind of like,
Woohoo!
you know, it's too bad we can't shoot at him or something. You know, I wish I wasn't him then, because
I have
he's
a 2010 Jayco J series pop-up. Daniel says.
Yeah. Well, like I say, Jayco makes a great unit. I mean, they've been around a long time. They make one of the really good units. The bad thing, all those people see Integra was a big shh. Don't say it's Jayco. We want to keep this really high standard. We want to get the $600,000-$700,000 for the top of the line Integra and all this stuff. And they actually were building a pretty decent product. I mean, they used Spartan chassis. They used the big Cummins. I mean, they really put the good stuff in the drive line. They were real pretty. They look like a hotel lobby when you walk into them. That's what the new motorhomes. Ours looks like an old 90s house, the 80s, 90s house. The Integra looks like you're walking into a hotel ball, lobby. But
Marble and mirrors.
yeah, it's. I mean, to me, they're not warm and comfortable at all. But some people like that stuff, and that's fine. Everybody has their own thing. The trouble is that when Jayco sold the Thor, man, those people were ready to find the owners of Jayco and just shoot them, you know. No, we're not famous. I'm telling you, we're losing.
Yeah.
We're losing subscribers
We
every day.
lose
I don't know how that
subscribers
works.
Every day. I don't know what
We're
it
going
is.
down 2 or 3 subscribers. Tell your friends. I don't know or just don't. Even if you don't like us, just forget we're even there. You know what I mean? Because we actually want to get to the point. I know you can't advertise on this, and we actually got our first thing to
request to review a product.
yeah, to review a product
That's
today.
pretty cool.
It's microfiber towels, and they're actually
So
really
I'm
nice.
putting a video out about that. We did the unboxing of it, and then we'll use the product. Probably get back to you guys in a week on on our take on how well they worked.
Yeah,
But they
we'll
seem really awesome.
We will be honest. I mean, that's the thing. I try to be as honest as I possibly can in every word I speak. I mean, I answer to a higher power, I guess. But I mean, if somebody's watching, wants to send us a product to look at, that'd be great. We'll do it. But just know, if it's junk,
gonna be an
I'm going to
honest
tell
review.
everybody I wouldn't buy. It's just like Blue Ox. I mean, they did stand behind it, but it was. I had to
long time
threaten
coming.
them. I had to threaten them. That's not. When I worked on motorcycles, and I had somebody come back, and I had worked on their bike, and they had a problem. I stopped what I was doing. I worked on their bike first. I took care of my
You've
comebacks.
done business. I mean, you already got paid on that, so.
I took care of my
to the
comebacks
front of the
before I
line.
worked on anything new. Sorry, you're going to have to wait to bring your bike in because this guy already paid for his, and I'm going to fix it right now. So that's just how I end bikes on the road. When somebody's on the road and they come in and their bike, they have to allow me time for it to cool down, depending on what's wrong with it. But I have a guy that's brought his bike in for an oil change, and he's not going to ride it for a week. You know what, man? I'll call him up and say, I got this guy here. He's on the road. I need to fix his bike. Don't come in to pick it up today. Come by tomorrow. I'll have it done for you. And that's just in the RV industry. You break down or your water heater, or you lose. I saw a lady. They lost a wheel on their travel trailer, which was like a year old. We had all the parts in stock, and the owner of the company said no, they didn't buy it here. That's why we don't go back there. That's why we're not working for Brett's RV anymore. Sorry. I loved working there. I loved the job. The thing is I don't think treating people that way is the right way to treat them. Just me. Okay, let's see.
Kinda chilly in southeast Wisconsin after the 90-degree days. You
Yeah.
got that right. I don't know what happened, but we were frying in that cafe, and now it's tolerable.
Martin, first time up. Martin, first comment I see. You guys are the adults of all the nomads. I watch, yet you're a lot of fun to hang out with. Yeah? Well, why don't you speak? You need to speak in more, see? Then we know you. And before we hang up here, I guess that would be the
Hang up.
Go to Facebook, Economic Refugees Group, and you'll have to put a request in. I don't know how that happened. We should just have it where anyone can be on there. But anyway, they make us accept you. But go ahead and we'll get you accepted. And I put on motorhomes. It's getting hard right now, but the deal of the day, whatever. If I find something I think is a good RV, I do a lot of diesel pushers, but I'm trying to find some other, some regular pickup campers and stuff like that, because not everybody's into diesel pushers. I understand that. I really like mine. If it was just me, I would probably have a small Class C or something, but I'd probably try to get a diesel one, I think, or something. If it was just Darla, she'd be living with Steve. So anyway, let's see. Well, let's try to boy, we're going over. You guys are going to get us in trouble. You know what happens? 2 hours and 10 minutes. What's wrong? No one's going to sit down and watch a YouTube channel for
They're here
2.
live. That's what counts.
Yeah.
They're that all,
Okay, so Brian Crowell. Kroll. Good night, Darla and Bill. Love it. Great info. Good night, Brian.
Thank you.
Let's see. You two are very better class of YouTubers. Keep being you, and your channel will grow for sure. Thank you. That's from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. I always appreciate positive input because,
Me too.
really, to be honest, I shouldn't tell you this. We don't get a lot of negative stuff. I mean, and I am. I'll tell you, there's 20 of you left. I'll just tell you straight up, if you're going to buy an RV and you have any questions, I'll make it where you can get in contact with me, and I'll give you what little I know. I mean, I'm learning every day too. Some people are really, really thorough on their sourcing and information on their RVs, and I learned stuff too. So, but if you ask a question, I don't have the answer. I'll find it. I'll look for it. That's how I work. Let's see. Yeah, don't worry. Every channel has lulls. You'll grow. Yeah, we kind of really don't worry about it. Just we were always above 1,700, and for a long time, and we were like at 1797 or something like that. Now we're in the 16. I mean, it's going to be what it is. I think what happens is those people drop off. What we're getting is more to our core audience, the people that really enjoy like what we're doing tonight, and people that enjoy the what we put out and stuff like that. And it's only going to grow. And what's going to happen is the people that are out here watching are going to learn things, are going to share things, more people, and it's going to get to where you guys are going to be able to answer their questions, because a lot of people don't want to teach anybody anything, and they don't want anyone to know the secrets. They don't want anyone to know how to do this and do that. They just want you to pay them, and that's not how I work. If I see someone broke down on the road and I think I can help them, we're going to pull over the side of the road. I'm going to open that man cave down there, go over there and help them fix their rig. That's just how I work. I
rip out their carpet.
Yeah, I ripped out carpet yesterday. A lady came to me. All the campers here always come to me when they have a problem. Well, my electric water heater's not working. I think I know how to change. So I went over and I told him how to do it. He says, okay. And he had another guy who was going to help him, but they couldn't figure out where the little electric anode thing or the little rod was at. And I showed him. And the lady came. This is a real simple one. She turned her heater on. The air came on with it. She froze to death all night. The heater was running all night. The air was running all night. She couldn't figure out what's going on. I said, do you have your thermostat deal set on auto? She goes, no, I have it on low. I said, well, when you have it on low, when you turn your heater on, your air conditioning fan blows. So what you need to do is put it on auto, and only the heater will come on. She came back. She goes, you're right. So, and that's why I used to deliver RVs, because I those were things I told people when they picked them up. In the water heater, there's a little switch in some of them, the older ones. Outside behind this little valve, there's a little switch. I hate to tell you how many people didn't know they had electric water heaters until I showed them the one they just bought. And they go, our old one might have had that too, huh? I go, yeah. So anyway, all right, let me finish these up. Let's see. 2-minute penalty for going over. Yeah, it's more like a 2-hour. Integrity goes a long way in running a good service business. That's my son. He knows. He used to work with me. Met much better. Laugh out loud. You guys are great. Glad you're spending the summer in God's country. Yes, it is. It's beautiful here. It's a beautiful place. And the people here are really nice. Huge and lots of love to both of you. Hugs to both of you. Like when Jesus entered a town and the people brought their sick and dying to him, Dad. Okay. My son. I love him. The people bringing their sick and DYONG dying RVs to you. Okay. I get what you're saying. I lost my plug here. All right, guys. With that,
thanks for joining us. By all means, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified of new content and when we're going to have lives and stuff like that. We've been trying to be better about that, so we appreciate you guys joining us.
And we could, if you go on to the Facebook thing, even when I'm at work, we have a lot of little times. Yeah. So if you have a question, or if you, like I always say, if you have an answer, give me a thing on the group, and I'll answer it.
And just know, we do have the Facebook page, and we have the Facebook group page. They're two different Facebook pages. So you can
yeah, we're trying to build the group.
Like the one and join the other.
Because the good thing about the group is you guys can talk to one another. Yeah. And that's what I want to be able to do. Is I want to be a community. I want us all to work together. There's people out there that
know things that we don't. So.
Right. Yeah. Nobody. If somebody tells you they know it all, they don't know it all. That's the first thing they don't know, is that they know it all.
True.
So anyway, with that, we love you guys.
Thanks
Everybody
again.
have a good rest of the week, and I guess we'll do it again next Wednesday night. Seems like people like it.
Unless our schedule changes, in which case we'll be open till 9 o'clock.
And we'll let you know if there's a problem. So we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
I'm going to try to get this to go off. Okay, are you sure you want to stop streaming?